How's everybody doing today? So my previous two videos, I was talking about entering 2025 with the dark moon, what that meaning was, and the opportunity for manifestation in 2025. And the manifestation comes from this direct source of what we call the 5D dimension or reality. And in 2025, the 5D energy is going to start coming into play. And what this means for us is not only are you going to be more expansive in your spirituality, like you'll see people that aren't even trying to be on a spiritual journey start having these like spiritual awakenings, like all of a sudden out of nowhere, or they'll be like massively confused because when the 5D energy starts hitting, it causes confusion because you're going to kind of like see through the illusion. Things will start acting really weird. People will start like, here for an example, let's say you didn't believe in anything about spirituality and you're walking around your house and you hear your cat meowing and then all of a sudden it stops meowing and you heard the meowing coming in from like one of your rooms of your house. So you go into that room and see if your cat's there. The cat's not there. You're looking all over the house, can't find your cat. Then all of a sudden you walk into your backyard and your cat's sleeping on the back porch. So this weird magic, like the Matrix style shifting, because this is a simulation, the code is starting to come into play where you'll see like breaks in the illusion. And for some people, this can it'll make them like insane or crazy. And you'll see some people start doing that where they'll go insane because their reality is being bent so much that they say, oh, I'm hearing voices in my head or I'm hallucinating. But people on a spiritual journey know better than this, right? You'll see like magic change around you. And if you're doing the manifestation stuff, it'll happen very quickly. Because switching from the 3D universe, remember I was talking about making that basketball appear in your hand immediately. In 3D, it takes time. The universe has to make plans in order for it to so it doesn't seem like we're living in a simulation. So it'll be a coincidence. Like 10 minutes later, a basketball will be rolling down the street. You hit the curb and like pop up into your hands instead of just magically making it appear in your hand immediately. Like, boom, it's in your hand. No, it had to make you think that it was a coincidence. But in 5D, the coincidental situations won't happen as much as like it immediately coming at you. So like, let's say you're thinking about a specific person to talk to, right? Say, I really wish, I really want this person to call me. 2 seconds later, bling, they call you, and you haven't talked to this person in 5 years. They didn't even have your number, but somehow they called you because you thought about it and it happened that fast. The manifestations are that quick in the 5D energies. And how far you are going up your spiritual journey or, increasing your vibration, those things come real quickly. Where you're like, you go to the old trick was like you drive to Walmart or the grocery store and you're envisioning to manifest the closest parking space. This is kind of like the oldest one in the book, right? We're talking about. But like when you're doing it, it happens every single time because you just know that that spot's going to be open. Now, you may not necessarily want to park in the very first space because that's where maybe your car gets damaged or people get dinged or the cart's hit it or whatever. I personally I always park in the furthest spot back of the parking lot. Like literally in no man's land. If I'm going to Walmart, there'll be like at least 14 spaces between me and the next car closer to the store. Let's say, the front of the store and it's all crowded with cars. And in the very back parking lot, there's always never any cars around. I'll park in like no man's land. Because I want to get the extra exercise in anyway. So, and then I'm not worried about I'm never worried about getting that parking space. But I'm going off on a little side note here. But the point is like if you wanted that close parking space at the doctor's office or whatever the case may be, you manifest it, and it's there every single time. It's easy. It's so, you believe it so much that it's like, it's not even a coincidence anymore. Someone to be riding with you, it's like, oh, you got the front parking space again. So I know I do that all the time. It's just part of my life. It's just what it is in my life. I want that parking space in the very front, so I manifest it every time I drive up, if that's what you so desire. These 5D energies will cause confusion at first, unless you are aware of what's going on. You're like, how did this happen? This doesn't make sense. This is not logical. It won't be, because the magic is not logical. It's creating something in a reality that was shifted so fast, or you created it so quickly, it actually wasn't supposed to be there. Before it would seem like a coincidence, but now it's just like, you're like a magician in a fantasy movie where you're like conjuring up magic and made it appear out of nowhere. I mean, it's literally what's happening with the 5D reality. And it can be scary too. Like, you're doing stuff and all this chaos is coming in, and then you might be getting like bills from debt collectors that, like, you never owned that, whatever that was they're charging you for, and then they're sending you like court documents, like you have to appear in court for it or whatever. And you're like, why is this happening? Like, this is not me. And then you call them and tell them this is not me, and say, no, this is you. It's just weird stuff like that. But some of that is testing you. Is like, are you accepting the 5D reality, or you still want to be stuck in the old system where we're controlled by man-made laws to keep you in control, when you're actually a co-creator of this universe? That stuff, it's not even affecting you, because you're a co-creator with God. So man-made laws have no bearing on your life whatsoever. You say, oh, I see that debt. Okay, well, I don't believe that debt's mine, and you just make it vanish because you don't believe in that anymore. The illusion, you pulled the curtain on the man behind the curtain. You've unveiled it, and you see what everything is for what it is. You see who's controlling the puppet strings, and by you seeing that, you become more powerful in your energy, and you're like, wow, you're gonna be confused on, like, why didn't I see this before? You're gonna feel so powerful. It's like, why couldn't I tap into this before? This is like, it's so simple. Well, you had power, you had energies working against you where it wasn't as easy as it is now, as it's going to be. And you can see massive changes in politics, how countries are ran. You're just gonna see weird things happening. Like, what? How is this? Like, it's happening with no effort. Like, I don't even have to worry about it, or I don't even have to vote for anything. It's just coming to, it's everything that I want. It's just coming to me. But what it's also going to do is it's going to dredge up some of those old emotions, because it doesn't, for the 5D reality, for you to be on your spiritual journey, you can't have those old emotions from that past trauma stored up in your body. It has to be released. So the beginning of the year might be like super chaotic, and like, either you might be sad, you might be angry. These emotions are going to get conjured up because that energy cannot fit in your soul or whatever with that stuff in there. It has to get it out and remove it so some other type of energy can replace it. That's why it's important to like use your heart chakra in order to make decisions instead of your mind, which is the third eye. The third eye chakra, which is on your forehead, that is the basically antenna to your subconscious mind in the universe. All that is radio transmission sending back and forth. And it's your logical, you use your brain for your logic system. But if you start making decisions from your heart, and the video might be backwards, but I'm pointing to my if you were me, I'm pointing to the left side of my body. I think it looks like I'm pointing at the wrong side. But your heart chakra, when you activate that, when you're making your decisions, those will be in line with your intuition. Your intuition is going to be heightened so much in 2025 that you're going to start getting anxiety and nervousness, because that these intuitions are going to start influencing your decisions about how to go to work. Like, you'll be like, I can't work at my job anymore, I'm going to quit. Like, there can be massive changes, and people around you, like your family members and friends, are not going to understand the decisions you're making. You say, I had intuition to quit my job. This job is destroying my life. I'm moving on. But like, how are you going to pay your bills and all this stuff? And then you're going to be influenced by that old energy again. But this is the shift that you're having to make. 2024 led us into the 2024 was very an emotional year, and the reason why is because it was trying to get those conjure up that old trauma to get out of your body, so the 5D reality could come into play. Now it's happening this quick. Like, I used to not think in spiritual terms that 1 year can make so much of a difference. It's like, you lived how many years of your life, and I thought it'd be like more like 7-year cycles, but in 1 year things can change so rapidly. It'll just like blow your mind, right? And that change will, like I said before, will cause chaos, and you'll might get in arguments with your family about the decisions you're making. Because you'll tell them, I have intuition to leave my job. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing, and I have to do this to enable to be in a prosperity and have serendipity and an abundance in my life. This is what I have to do. You don't even have to explain it to them. This is the decision for yourself. When you imagine in manifestation and sending out love and increasing your vibration, this all frame is within you. You don't have to really explain anything to anybody. You can kind of tell them what's going on. It's like, hey, I had a spiritual awakening. This is where it's leading me, and this is what I'm doing. You may agree or disagree with it. It doesn't matter. But I envisioned what I want in my life. This is where I'm going to place myself. You are what you think you are. If you think you're in that $1 million home that I was talking about in the previous manifestation video, that's where you are. If you think you're in a small apartment where property management's always up your butt about paying rent and this and that, and if you pay it 2 days later, whatever, they're starting to charge you late fees, that's where you are. Or you can be in your home that's paid off, that's millions of dollars. It just depends on what you want. You are what you think you are. The $1 million home's there, the Lambo's in the garage, like I always talk about. You walk into the garage, the Lamborghini's sitting there. You walk into your house, the $1 million house is there. The food's stocked the food is fully stocked in the cabinets. You have plenty of money to buy it. I mean, food's no problem for you when you're a millionaire. It's not just financial. This has to do with like love, friendships, relationships, and this and that. But like I talked about in my very early videos, if you go back and watch all my previous videos, which I suggest you do, because like I said before, they're in a certain order for you to understand everything that I'm talking about. If you just showed up to this video now and you're like, wow, this guy's talking crazy, or like, where did he get this information? We'll go back and watch my other videos, and you'll understand like the series of information that you need to know in order to watch this current one right now. But anyways, so to get the financial out of your way, you can move forward and not have that anxiety. Like, it causes stress and anxiety in your life, and you can help other people once that's out of the way. That's why financial is important. It's like 90% of most people's problems is financial, especially in the United States, because everything's so expensive. You're worried about it. Like, if you go to a third world country, some of them are walking around in sandals and, eating plantains and bananas or whatever, and they're the happiest people alive, but they don't have a dime in their name. There's a culture associated with where you're living and stuff like that. And in order to thrive in that culture, you must not have the anxiety there. So if you're in a country like, if you're in Britain or Australia or United States, these first world countries that have like very strong economies, you are stressed and anxiety to make those bills happen. Otherwise, you get in trouble. So the financial's out of the way. You're using heart chakra to make decisions. You're increasing your love, which is increasing your vibration. The financial stuff falls off the wagon because you're a millionaire now. And I'm using the term millionaire because that's a lot of money to most people. The number doesn't matter. You could be a billionaire or a trillionaire. It's whatever you decide yourself to be, is what you're going to become. How much do you want to help other people? If you want to help everybody on the planet, well, you go into the billions. If you want to help the immediate surrounding people in your life right now, you'll want millions, right? It doesn't matter. Money is energy. It's just it's a number, currency. It's like an energy exchange system. Everything's an energy exchange. Money is also energy exchange. It means nothing besides what they made it mean in our society. But in our current system, having that and providing for other people helps the financial strain off. And then other people, some people might not be at the same level of spiritual journey as you, but they're able to get there quicker because you took the financial burden off of them. Let's say you have you have a best friend or a parent or a kid or whatever. They're struggling financially and it's putting stress on them. Well, you just let off that burden in their life, and it's really easy for them to be spiritual and be happy because they're not worried about having $1 to buy ramen noodles at the grocery store, which is junk food, right? Once that's out of the way, they can focus on who they're becoming, because it might have been harder for them. Some of you out there, and I hate this term, called the chosen ones, where you're kind of like I talked to him about this with my dad today. Kind of the black sheep in their family. You're on a spiritual journey, so you're automatically the black sheep. If you're on a spiritual journey in your family, you've been placed in the black sheep position because your life journey is not the same as everybody else. You're not part of the system. You're trying to operate in that system, but you're not part of it. You're born to escape it. I don't like the term chosen ones because we're all chosen ones once the spiritual awakening happens. But some of us were born into that black sheep persona, and you've been spending your entire life trying to figure out why is everything going against me. It's because you're not really part of the system. Where sometimes things go really well for you or whatever, but your family and your friends really didn't understand how you operate. Like, why does this always happen to you and no one else? So the term chosen one just means, I think it's like people they're inbound for a spiritual awakening, or they had a spiritual awakening. So they now seem different to everyone else. Because even with this, for a lot of people, spiritual awakening started happening around 2012. It happened in 2007 for me. Even though I think I had small ones when I was a child and I was born into it. The big one was in 2007. A lot of people were waking up around 2012. Like, the shift's starting to happen where they're seeing, like, wow, like, I'm working for a company for $14 an hour. They're reprimanding me because I took a 15-minute bathroom break. Meanwhile, the CEO just bought a second 500-foot yacht with a crew of 25 people. He's got 2 mansions, 10 Lamborghinis, no Christmas bonus. You're starting to wake up to this. It's like, what am I doing? And they don't even pay me enough to pay my bills. A lot of people are waking up. Some people are still stuck. So they work harder. They'll work 2 or 3 jobs to, like, grind because they have the drive and determination, which is good on them. But that drive and determination is fighting the system. When, like, if you're on a spiritual journey, you don't have to do that. Your work is meditation and using your heart chakra and sending out love energy and being in a optimistic attitude that gives you law of attraction. The optimistic law of attraction attitude will start bringing that stuff in your life where you don't have to grind 3 jobs in order to have abundance. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about 2025. If you have any more questions, write in the comments below. Email me at realitysimulator@gmail.com, or even write comments. Like if you have a question about a topic that you want me to talk about, please write it in the comments. So I get excited to answer some of these questions. I'm better answering questions than actually just giving straight information a lot of the time. That's why I love doing that. But anyways, greatly appreciate you guys watching my videos as always, and have a nice day. Happy New Year's Eve, and welcome to 2025.